This is Armstrong Williams on the right side.
Armstrong.
Don't curse, speak English.
Armstrong.
Virtuous society.
Armstrong.
I dare you to listen.
Hey, turn it up. Hey. Armstrong. Get on the right side. Armstrong.
Elevate your mind.
Armstrong.
I'm Armstrong Williams on the right side.
Armstrong.
Yo, man, it's your boy K.O. And you're tuned into the most conservative of our brothers.
Armstrong.
The Armstrong Williams Show. Please give me a break. Grow up.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another edition of the Armstrong Williams Show. Thank you so much for joining us. You know, according to today's Washington Post, anxiety is rising among House Republicans about a strategy of appeasement toward fiscal hardlines that could require them to embrace not only the sequester, but also sharply new cuts to federal health and retirement programs. Letting the sequester hit was just the first step in a pact forged in January between conservative leaders and Speaker John Boehner to keep the government open and the nation out of default. Now comes step two, adopting a budget plan that would wipe out deficits entirely by 2023. The strategy runs counter to warnings from prominent Republicans such as Louisiana Governor Bobby Jindal against becoming a party austerity. Just as GOP lawmakers are tacitly endorsing sequester cuts to the Pentagon, long a sacred cow, they fear the balanced budget goal will force them to abandon a campaign pledge not to reduce Medicare benefits for those who are now 55 and older. Milo, should the GOP, according to Governor Jindal, abandon becoming the party of austerity?
Armstrong, there's mixed reviews on both sides of that argument. I personally say no. Yet at the same time, I'm concerned that austerity further drives us to parity with our European allies in a steady structure of decline. I don't have the answer, so it's kind of hard to take a hardline position. This is one that I'm actually stumped on.
Jen Morgan?
Yes, Armstrong. How are you?
It's always a pleasure to have you join us. Should we become the party of austerity or should we abandon it?
I definitely think we should become the party of austerity. Why abandon it? What's the purpose in abandoning it? What would that accomplish? When you say austerity, your definition of austerity, I don't know what your definition of austerity is, but my definition of austerity is extreme economy, austere act. It's like a manner or attitude.
I think we're talking about fiscal restriction.
Fiscal restriction. Well, I think that we have already destroyed our reputation regarding fiscal responsibility around the world when we lost our credit rating. I think that we need to get back to that, and I think Republicans need to hold hard and fast, and we've got to get back in there and look at all the fat that is in our government. I think I talked about this on Armstrong's last show. We were talking about the sequestration and the deficit, and I'm so tired of all these different methods coming at the American people and these threats of, well, if we don't do this, this is going to happen. The fact of the matter is, if we cut all of the fat, if we just went in logically, any person with a sound mind could look at what we're spending and see where we need to cut and cut it. There's a lot of fat in there, a lot of unnecessary spending, a lot of special interest spending that is not what is in the best interest of our country. To me, we need just to get back to simple, basic math regarding dealing with our fiscal issues.
With all due respect, though, while your response is thoughtful and substantively correct, it doesn't directly answer the question, which is, on the partisan level, should our party take a posture of fiscal restriction and austerity? And unfortunately, the austerity calls that our party is publicly presenting in the media are partisanship, they are their media play, they aren't as well thought out as your answer. So the answer to Armstrong,
which is what the problem is. That is the problem with the Republican Party image right now, is that it is detached and it has strayed from mainstream America, what conservative Americans want from our government. We are sick and tired of this partisan politics. We don't care about political parties. What we care about is what is in the best interest of this country. And whether you're a Democrat or Republican, it's very clear and simple when it comes to financial responsibility. You don't spend more than you bring in. That's not rocket science. So the American people sitting out there at home, we're tired of all of the public relations games that the parties are playing. We want both parties and all of the people that we elect to represent us to go in there and fix our problems, our financial problems. And just like we have to fix our budgets, we have to live by budgets at home. It's a simple thing. You do not spend more than you take in. If you take in less, then you spend less. You figure out what is necessary. You break it down between wants and needs.
You know, this is not a situation where everybody is to be made to feel good and as if they're not going to make any sacrifices. Of course it's going to eventually happen that Medicare is going to be reduced, these benefits. Of course there are going to be share sacrifices. Of course you're going to cut the Pentagon. I mean, we're not here for political correctness. This is a principled position. The Republicans need to realize that they're going to get cut by this too. They're going to lose favor. But it's not about whether Republicans or Democrats lose favor. It's about what is in the best interest of saving this nation and its future 10 or 20 years from now.
Well, you know, it seems like on this subject, all three of us are in agreement. Just not clear that you know the practical application of the cuts is translating into a practical execution of our values. I mean, the reality of it, Armstrong, is that our party, our Republican Party, in many respects, is an embarrassment right now because our leadership is anemic. And is so busy being partisan and fighting Obama that no one can see through the muck of war. You know, the Democrats and the Obama administration and the Democratic leadership in both houses are so busy fighting anything that a Republican suggests that they're not thinking about what's in the best interest of the country. But the reality of it is, from a purely economic perspective, a meat cleaver approach, a shotgun approach, a sloppy, unthought-out approach to the necessary cuts to stabilize our economy and return us to a posture of growth and prosperity, it can't be the solution. You have to take strategic cuts. You have to take thoughtful cuts. You know, when you just buy a business.
Can I break in here just a second? Here's what is irritating the American people who are conservative, the American people who are sitting at home and watching their checkbooks and watching their spending. This is what ticks them off. And I'm telling you this because I'm connected to about 350,000 of them, which doesn't seem like a big number when you look at the whole population of conservative America, but those are the ones that are in contact with me on my Facebook pages and my website. And here's what ticks them off. We're tired of hearing our government say things like, we can't afford, we're going to have to make cuts to Medicare. This is something that good, honest, law-abiding Americans have paid into all their lives, and now you're going to tell them you're going to cut back Medicare? We're going to have to make cuts to the Pentagon. We're going to have to cut back our military. Our military is our strength. It is critical to our freedom. But here, when we're hearing our government saying, we're going to have to cut here and here, all of these things are important to us, but on the other hand, we've got hundreds of millions of dollars to send over to the Muslim Brotherhood. You saw that story, I'm sure, yesterday. That was all over the press yesterday. We don't have the money. We've got enough money, hundreds of millions of dollars to send to Egypt's Muslim Brotherhood, which is clearly our enemy right now, while on the other hand, we don't even have enough money to detain illegals. That was the excuse given, I believe, for releasing, 2,000, or was it 200,000? I don't remember how many. It was an unbelievable number of illegal aliens that were released by ICE, and of course no one wants to claim responsibility for that either. But that's the kind of thing we're sick of. Yeah.
You know,
simple. Why are we sending money to support all of these other nations when we have a deficit? It's common sense. You know, if you look at your own pocketbook at home, Okay, you want to support charity. You want to be a good citizen and be a good Samaritan and support charities. But look, if you can't even pay your own bills at home, then you have to look at, okay, where am I overspending? You don't support the rest of the world when you can't even support yourself. We need to take care of our home front first, and we certainly don't need to be sending money to the Muslim Brotherhood.
Well, all valid points. But do you take uncalculated, haphazard, swinging approach to these cuts, or do you use strategically and carefully plot a course and then make considered decisions on where and what you cut? Because there needs to be cuts made everywhere.
I've never said anything about haphazard. Never, ever.
That's what our own party is suggesting.
Yes, well, we have put these people in office, and they've been there for 4 years already. They've had more than ample time to figure out a budget. They've had more than ample time to figure out that we're spending more than we're making and we've got to cut and break it all down. It doesn't take 4 years to do that.
Jan, Milo, we're coming back. We're talking about the fallout of the cuts. Our phone lines are open, 866-4866-620-6620. I'm Armstrong Williams. We're streaming live. We'll be back. Hi, this is Armstrong Williams. Just like the Affordable Care Act seeks to ensure people with public or private coverage can find high-quality health care, AAA911health.com offers consumers with access to better information, quality care, and big-time savings on your health care. Yes, big time. AAA911health.com offers a 90-day money-back guarantee. That's right. If AAA911health.com haven't saved you money, guess what? They will pay you back in full your membership with no questions asked. Just tell them Armstrong Williams sent you to AAA911health.com.
For more information on the Armstrong Williams Show, please visit our new website at www.rightsidewire.com. There you can find his syndicated column archive, view live streams, and get your favorite conservative pundits' views on the current issues affecting the American people. From building wealth to foreign policy, stay connected with Armstrong Williams and his colleagues at the all-new www.rightsidewire.com.
Hi, this is Armstrong Williams. What does it mean to be conservative? Freedom of speech, freedom of free enterprise, freedom of assembly, less government, less taxes. As a matter of fact, a flat tax. Everyone should pay proportional tax. It doesn't matter whether you make $100 million or $10,000. Everyone should pay their 10%. Everyone should have something at stake in this American economy. I'm Armstrong Williams expressing what we mean by conservative traditional value.
Does your school, team, church, or charity need a new fundraiser? Do you need to work out of your home or part-time? Are you a small business that can use an additional revenue stream? Then you need Yellow Llama. Do you need affordable web services or tools to enhance your existing business? Are you a graphic artist who wants to create a revenue stream with your art but not get ripped off? Then go to www.yellowllama.com.
America must change course if we hope to survive and save the American dream for our children and grandchildren. How do we fix Social Security and Medicare? How do we cut government spending? How do we reform health care? How do we simplify the tax code? The Heritage Foundation has a bold plan that tackles these tough problems using common sense solutions that leave partisan politics on the sidelines. Find out how we can save the American dream at savingthedream.org, paid for by the Heritage Foundation.
Hi, this is Armstrong Williams with an opportunity to own a piece of paradise in Nassau, Bahamas. Spectacular land prices, 8,000 square feet, 20,000 square feet lot, affordable prices, hilltop properties with views of the magnificent sea. Just call 242-677-3120 or 3121 or go to info@rightsidewire.com and leave your information.
Where heads of state, sports, entertainment, and political celebrities meet. You're listening to Armstrong Williams.
You know, Jan, the Violence Against Women Act is headed to the president's desk, and it makes many Americans believe that actual violence was addressed. when in reality, many people are saying Congress pushed through a bad bill that hurts sex trafficking victims, seeks to legalize prostitution for minors, and fails to protect the conscience of organizations such as the U.S. Conference of Catholic Bishops. And these bishops oppose the abortion but want to protect trafficking victims. And within the Senate version, I don't know if you even realize of the act, is an amendment by Senator Patrick J. Leahy from Vermont that decimates the office to monitor and combat trafficking in person and seeking to change the model state law to promote the decriminalization of prostitution for minors and assaults the conscious protections of groups that have a history of hands-on help for these victims. This goes to the president on Thursday.
Armstrong, regarding violence against women, I'm not familiar with that act in its entirety. I know something about it. But once again, when it gets down to basics, if you really want to deal with the issue of violence against women, you arm women. You allow them to be armed in every city, in every state in this country. We just heard in Colorado a young woman stand before a committee because in Colorado they're trying to pass some of the most strict gun control laws in the nation. I thought Chicago and D.C. was bad, but the folks in Colorado are on a rampage right now. The gun grabbers are. But I sat there and watched a young woman who had been raped beg and plead with the committee that's having a hearing on this issue of gun rights. She told them, if only I had been allowed to be armed, if I could have concealed carry a gun, I could have stopped this attacker with my weapon. And basically she was told, well, the statistics are against you and you probably couldn't have grabbed your gun, etc. But the bottom line is that's what I believe the number one solution is to crime against women in this country. Allow us to be armed. Allow us to conceal carry.
Milo?
First, women of age 18 or better in all but 2 states in America are eligible to be armed. All they have to do is apply for a concealed carry permit and go through the process, and they can be armed. So the issue isn't whether or not they have the ability or that the denial of the ability, because there is no denial that exists. But more importantly than the access to arms is, do we want a street full of armed civilians who are untrained, or are we going to put programs in place to properly train people to be armed, as our Constitution provides us the opportunity to do so? That's one point. But more importantly than that is, are the existing laws we have to have on the books need to be better enforced when it comes to violence against women, especially in the case of rapes. And the perpetrator who is going to rape a woman on the street typically is going to assail her from a blind spot, where in the greater majority of cases she's not going to have access to her weapon. So I don't really know that that's a solution. But I do believe that we need to, in the cases of rape, prosecute aggressively. This nonsense of appeal after appeal after appeal and leaving them on the street. If a man is accused of rape, and especially in the case of a violent rape, we should go through an immediate execution of the case, prosecute aggressively. If found guilty, there should be severe punishment, including physical punishment like castration, like many countries do, and put an end to it. And I don't have a problem with that. I'm the father of a daughter, and I got to tell you, if anybody ever rapes my daughter, I'm not worrying about the trial, because the odds are they'll never get the trial.
Milo, may I just interrupt you for a second? Because I would like to know what states allow 18-year-olds to conceal carry. The ones all the concealed carry state laws that I'm familiar with, you have to be 21 years of age, not 18. Otherwise, my daughter would be concealed carrying right now.
I may be off on them, but I believe it's legal majority in all but 7 states in the union. And in most states, legal majority is achieved at age 18. In the state of Georgia, it's 18. It's legal majority.
To conceal carry?
For a pistol permit. I'm not sure about concealed carry. I'm not positive on that. But whether it be 18 or 21, the answer is the same. The provisions are available. Are you suggesting that we have 16-year-olds running around with weapons?
Actually, there is a lot that can happen between the ages of 18 and 21. And yes, I would like for college-age students, when my daughter goes off to college, I would like for her to be able to be armed and to be able to conceal carry. Yes, you can keep a firearm in your home, in your residence in many states. But to conceal carry, that's a different matter. And when women are attacked, often they're attacked when they're not in their home. You can conceal carry in your car in most states if you're of legal age.
Mm-hmm.
But that doesn't do you any good if you're walking around on a college campus and you're attacked on the campus, or you're walking around the streets at night and you're attacked. Doesn't do you any good if it's in your car.
You know, anybody who has ever heard me on the air or knows me knows that I am a firm defender of the Second Amendment, and as a concealed carry person, a person who has concealed carry for 20-plus years, I am a strong advocate of it. Having said that, I will tell you that I have real reservations whether or not an 18, a 16, 17, 18, 19-year-old girl in college is an appropriate place for a concealed carry permit. 21, I have no problem with. 18, I really have no problem with. 18 in the college setting, I have a definite problem with. Because in a college setting, these are still children in many respects.
Yes, but understand that some of these mass shootings that are happening in college are happening with people that don't abide by the laws.
Well, we're not talking about mass shootings. What we're talking about is concealed carry and rape, and I'm responding to your commentary on concealed carry and rape. And in a case with college campuses...
If I was a student in one of those places...
In a case with college campuses where the call of rape is more often subject to question than confirmation, I would be very reluctant to have an emotionally charged environment where kids are under all sorts of emotional duress as a result of the demands of secondary education. We might have an increased incidence of unjustified shootings.
So what do you propose that an 18 or 19-year-old college female do when she's being attacked by someone on the college campus? How do you expect her to defend herself? Are you supportive of the liberals' version of self-defense that they came out with recently?
No, I'm supportive of a practical defense. I think there are non-lethal solutions out there. I have no problem with women carrying tasers or mace, or the combination of both. In fact, you know, when my daughter is 18, I will give her a taser. You know, I have no problem with that whatsoever. But I do have an issue with in the college environment. I have no problem with an 18-year-old woman on the street carrying a weapon to protect herself, going to and from work. I have a problem in the college environment. I don't.
Well, actually, you know, in the state of Arkansas, they just signed a bill today to allow the Arkansas College faculty members to conceal carry, and House bill for open carry for not for students, but for all citizens of Arkansas just barely failed, and it's actually going to be brought back before the House, I believe. So we may even have open carry in the state of Arkansas. But
absolutely
yes, at least faculty on the campus in Arkansas will have a right to conceal carry if the individual university allows it. I think it's going to be left up to the individual universities to decide what their faculty can and can't do. But at least legally now in the state of Arkansas, it's acceptable.
Absolutely fine. I have no problem with concealed carry on a campus with professors, with faculty and staff. No problem. I do have a problem with concealed carry on campus with students.
You know,
I don't think students are sufficiently mature at that point.
I understand your point because I've seen a lot of irrational things that teenagers and young adults do. It's very irrational. But I also know that sometimes innocent people are the victims of that irrational behavior. And if my daughter had been on that college campus that had the most recent college mass shooting, you think, okay, she would have no way to defend herself. So the idiots and the fools and the crazies are still going to carry. They're still going to carry firearms on campus, not allowing law-abiding, rational teenagers and adults, young adults, to carry gives them no way to defend themselves against the crazies. It's the same policy that you attach to the world out here. You know, we can tell people when they go in the mall that you can't conceal carry. You can put the sign on the mall doors that say no, guns prohibited here. And all that does is stop law-abiding citizens from carrying their guns inside that mall. But the people who intend to go in there and commit mass murder, they don't pay attention to those signs. So what we're doing is announcing to the crazies, hey, come inside. We've got a defenseless population of people in here just waiting to become your next victim.
Well, all reasonable points, but let's put things back in context. With respect to the mall, if a private mall owner places a sign on their mall that they do not permit concealed carry, then the private citizen who feels that jeopardizes their security can shop at another mall. There's one thing that is clear in America, that when it comes to malls, most all of our malls are national tenants today, so you can go to the other mall 3 miles down the road where you are permitted to carry, if that is such a concern of yours.
Right.
Well,
and I can tell you
that have to
there
have some balance in these rules. I agree with you on the majority of the issues with respect to concealed carry. Our Second Amendment rights provide us the right to carry and to own and bear arms. I don't like restrictions on it. But the other side of that equation is we are a land of laws, and if I own a shopping center, I should have the right to determine how I operate my shopping center, and my customers have the right not to use it.
Milo, Pickney, Jan Morgan, stay there. We're coming back. I'm Armstrong Williams. Don't go away.
Armstrong Williams returns in a moment.
Confessions of a Potentially Perfect Parent, brought to you by
For more information on the Armstrong Williams Show, please visit our new website at www.rightsidewire.com. There you can find his syndicated column archive, view live streams, and get your favorite conservative pundits' views on the current issues affecting the American people. From building wealth to foreign policy, stay connected with Armstrong Williams and his colleagues at the all-new www.rightsidewire.com.
Life is full of unexpected changes. Everyone has potential to do wrong. And when they choose to do it, contact the Bucksell Group for your private investigation needs. TheBucksellGroup.com or by phone at 202-243-9746. Whether there's an instance of a cheating spouse, child custody, process service, or security, don't continue suspecting. Get closure so that you can move on with your life. Visit TheBucksellGroup.com now or call 202-243-9746. If you think it's happening, it probably is.
To travelers along the road of life who have fallen asleep at the wheel, to the many who woke up in time to avert disaster and get back on the righteous path. For the ones who crashed and survived and now adhere vigilantly to a virtuous and righteous path. Finally, Armstrong Williams' much-anticipated new book, Reawakening Virtues, gives his insights into these daily challenges and much more. Reawakening Virtues is available in bookstores and at Amazon.com.
Join the millions of Americans who pursue one of our country's finest traditions, from hunting to sport shooting. Since 1871, the NRA has grown as a service organization involved in all aspects of shooting sports and is a proud defender of the Bill of Rights. Join today to begin taking advantage of exclusive membership offers and discounts, including up to $25,000 in insurance coverage. Contact the NRA today. Call 1-800-672-3888 or visit nra.org.
Most Americans simply have never been taught the basics of money management, let alone how to secure their financial future. But there is hope. Financial Education and Literacy Advisors, also known as FELA, does what others don't. FELA teaches financial education. If you'd like more information about providing a financial wellness program for your employees, or a credit-bearing college course in personal finance, or other valuable programs, please visit myfela.com. That's myfela.com, or send an email to info@myfela.com.
Elder Chicks is an exciting part of the fastest growing segment of the population. Women in their 70s, 80s, and older who are mastering the art of a senior life. We're no longer unseen and unheard. We're providing role models for each other and the baby boomers who are fast approaching retirement. Join our virtual community. Hit www.elderchicks.com on your computer keyboard.
Where heads of state, sports, entertainment, and political celebrities meet. You're listening to Armstrong Williams.
You know, all of us have had an interest in the abrupt resignation of the Pope. And I was following this story in Vatican City, and I guess this interests me because I've spent so much time in Rome and at the Vatican, and all of us love to spend quality time at the Sistine Chapel. And I was following the meeting of the College of Cardinals, which held its first general meeting on yesterday since the resignation of Pope Benedict. But they didn't choose a start date for the conclave from which the Pope will emerge. It's just I want to talk about the Vatican, the Pope, the fact that the U.S. has a large Catholic population, the importance of this, I know they want to have this process completed before Holy Week, which is the week before Easter. And Easter, believe it or not, is March 31st. Did you know that, Jan?
No, I did not.
It's real soon. And so talk about, do you really care about Pope Benedict stepping down? Should we care the significance of it? And why do you think this continues to be a big story? Jen, we'll start with you.
Well, I think it's a big story because the fact that he stepped down. I think his reign was one of the shortest in history. From what I have read, that it's kind of people are wondering what's this really all about, and so I think that's probably the interest that's been generated about the issue from non-Catholics. I don't know that. But we've got roughly, 1 billion Catholics worldwide. Obviously, that's another reason that what the Pope does is of interest to so many people. Personally, on a personal level, it's not a big story to me because I'm so wrapped up in conservative issues and issues regarding salvaging my country that it's like not on my high list of priorities for urgent issues. So, sorry, I don't have a lot to offer on that one, Armstrong.
Milo?
Armstrong, to me, it has no real...
But listen, in my role as a talk show host and hosting of this show, we go through the email and the letters and deciding the topics that we're going to talk about. And people are just stunned that I have not even broached the subject because they think it's so important. So it's not about whether I think it's important or not. There are many people that across this country that thinks it needs to be discussed.
But I think that's where the problem lies. I really think that's where the problem lies, is that the subsect that believes that it is of such import is upset that it's not attaining the attention that they believe it should solicit. And the reality of it is, it's a personal thing. I mean, it has no bearing on my life one way or the other. It has no importance in my life. I recognize that it is of significant import to a large segment of the global population, but for me, it's what's the temperature outside?
I'll tell you something that is actually surprising. The sequester cuts are now officially in place. But many government agencies, Milo and Jan, appear to be hired freely anyway. The U.S. Forest Service on yesterday posted health warrant ads for a few good men and women to work as recreation aides this summer. The IRS advertised for office secretary in Maryland. I mean, and this goes on and on. And while Monday marked the first regular workday under sequestration, and federal agencies post more than 400 job ads by 6 p.m. And at a time, let me finish, where nearly all of those agencies are contemplating furloughs. The help wanted ads should raise questions about how agencies should decide between saving through attrition or letting people go.
Armstrong, on December 7th of last year, the CNS News reported that 73% of all new jobs were created in the previous 5 months. Were all government jobs. The sequester and the associated cuts they are gross numbers. They don't really translate down to the net functionality in many respects. And what you're seeing in new government hires, because we had this discussion here just the other day, what you're seeing in new government hires is the reallocation of existing resources. You fire two $50,000 employees, and you get four $25,000 employees.
Jen?
I do not like the fact that our government is expanding. The bigger our government is, it's one of the nation's largest employers, if not the nation's largest employers. And what I want to see is the numbers on the small businesses that are growing. I want to see a real economic boom of businesses hiring. All I see, I've done a number of speeches around the country lately, and what's staggering to me is as I drive through these communities, looking at all the manufacturing plants that are closed, all the stores that are closed. I announced that to the person who was driving me. I said, is it my imagination? Is there some kind of holiday? Is this a federal holiday? What? Nobody's driving around. There's no businesses open. What? Why are all these businesses closed? And I saw it town after town after town. I traveled by car all the way from Boca Raton, Florida, to Arkansas, going through Alabama, Georgia, all those states. And I'm seeing it in town after town, and it's frightening. You hear about it, but you don't hear until you see it. It's very sobering, and an expanding government is not exciting to me at all. It's frightening to me,
especially with less qualified employees.
Well, I don't know anything about the qualified employees. All I know is
what's happening then is we're expanding government. We are what has happened under the Obama administration in many federal offices is the downsizing of higher ticket employees and replacing them with multiple lower ticket employees. So what we have is less qualified, less experienced employees in government, all part of a concerted strategy to present economic recovery numbers based on employment. And it's all a ruse. It's all a ruse. But I'm with you. I mean, the bottom line is the turnaround in this country it will be attributable to small business. It always has been. And one of the first things that we can do to support small business is make a concerted effort to stand down from supporting those larger companies that are exporting jobs overseas and bringing, discounted product in from overseas.
And we need to cut back on the regulations. So the regulations, the corporate taxes, what we're doing is just suffocating businesses and we're not creating an environment in this country for entrepreneurship. There was a guy that owns Subway. I think it was, he owns all the Subway chains. He said on the news the other day, it's a good thing I started my business years ago, because if I were trying to start this business today, with all the regulations, with all the stuff that's out there, that's coming down from our government, I could not do it. I couldn't survive.
No,
what does that say?
He's right. As an entrepreneur, it is very challenging, but it's not impossible. But something, before you worry about just the regulations, we ought to do some real practical things. Our U.S. military should not be buying Airbus aircraft. American Airlines, not American the brand, but U.S. Airlines should be paying a tariff for supporting Airbus and foreign manufacturers, especially those that are subsidized by foreign governments. American consumers should be looking at Walmart and saying, I want this product, but is this product available from an American producer? And if we took some simple steps like that, we would accelerate the path to recovery exponentially.
So let me ask you this. Let me raise this, because I want to take this into the next and our final segment. Why is it that the senators continue to demand answers on Benghazi? Why is it that these issues remain resolved when we assume that everything was handled and justified during and right before the presidential election? I mean, even of late, 3 Republican senators issued a list of unanswered questions about the September 11th terrorist attack on the U.S. diplomatic compound in Benghazi. On the eve of it's a committee vote on President Obama's nominee for CIA director. Why is this still an issue? Is there so much that we still don't know about Benghazi, Jan?
Well, actually, he's no longer just a nominee for the CIA director. Just before your show started, Armstrong, the Senate Intelligence Committee confirmed John Brennan as head of the CIA.
Really? Thank you
Yes,
for that update.
really, yes. I just put that on my page just before I came on. I thought, I need to tell Armstrong this because I bet he doesn't know because he's prepping for a show. So, yeah, that just happened. The reason I think
But does that change anything now that he's confirmed?
Well, don't get me started on John Brennan, but what I would like to say is this. The reason I think that some of our elected leaders are staying on the Benghazi issue is because American citizens are staying on it. They haven't forgotten it, and they're still calling and complaining that there's no closure to this because no one has been held accountable. It's like, if I was responsible for the murder of 4 American citizens, I would be in jail right now. No one's been held accountable for
You
this.
would be under jail. We'll be back. Jan Morgan, Milo, Pickney, Armstrong, Williams, info at rightsidewire.com. We'll be back. Hi, this is Armstrong Williams. Just like the Affordable Care Act seeks to ensure people with public or private coverage can find high-quality health care, AAA911health.com offers consumers with access to better information, quality care, and big-time savings on your health care. Yes, big time. AAA911health.com offers a 90-day money-back guarantee. That's right. If AAA911health.com haven't saved you money, guess what? They will pay you back in full your membership with no questions asked. Just tell them Armstrong Williams sent you to AAA911health.com.
For more information on the Armstrong Williams Show, please visit our new website at www.rightsidewire.com. There you can find his syndicated column archive, view live streams, and get your favorite conservative pundits' views on the current issues affecting the American people. From building wealth to foreign policy, stay connected with Armstrong Williams and his colleagues at the all-new www.rightsidewire.com.
Does your school, team, church, or charity need a new fundraiser? Do you need to work out of your home or part-time? Are you a small business that can use an additional revenue stream? Then you need Yellow Llama. Do you need affordable web services or tools to enhance your existing business? Are you a graphic artist who wants to create a revenue stream with your art but not get ripped off? Then go to www.yellowllama.com.
Anderson Brothers Bank, a family-owned and operated establishment that blends traditional personal service, local market awareness, and advanced technology to meet the financial needs of its customers. Visit abbank.com or call 843-464-6271 to see how they can assist you with your banking needs. Anderson Brothers Bank, celebrating 75 years of community banking, the way it should be. Stability right in your backyard since 1933.
America must change course if we hope to survive and save the American dream for our children and grandchildren. How do we fix Social Security and Medicare? How do we cut government spending? How do we reform health care? How do we simplify the tax code? The Heritage Foundation has a bold plan that tackles these tough problems using common sense solutions that leave partisan politics on the sidelines. Find out how we can save the American dream at savingthedream.org, paid for by the Heritage Foundation.
Join the millions of Americans who pursue one of our country's finest traditions, from hunting to sport shooting. Since 1871, the NRA has grown as a service organization involved in all aspects of shooting sports and is a proud defender of the Bill of Rights. Join today to begin taking advantage of exclusive membership offers and discounts, including up to $25,000 in insurance coverage. Contact the NRA today. Call 1-800-672-3888 or visit nra.org.
Where heads of state, sports, entertainment, and political celebrities meet. You're listening to Armstrong Williams.
So, Jan, I know you followed this Benghazi story. What has been lost in translation that has not been reported that continues to call on these questions from the Senate?
Well, I think not all of the information being provided, all of the emails not being provided, no one being held accountable, being allowed to just walk away from total incompetence and negligence to the extent of absolute murder. I I do not understand why Hillary Clinton was allowed to walk away from this. And then you look on the polls today, and she's one of the according to the polls, one of the top contenders from viewed by the American people as the next president of the United States. I don't understand that. That's incomprehensible to me.
Well, Milo, I know I want to continue overseas. Have you been following what Putin is doing to his protege, Medvedev?
Yeah, and you know, it's amazing to me that I can never say his name.
Medvedev. Medvedev.
Yeah, right. Thank you.
That's a good try.
It's amazing to me that he accepts that. I mean, the idea that this man has been so functionally emasculated as the president of this country by Putin, I just don't understand how you run an organization that way. But I haven't understood that for years because, you know, one of the things that's widely, not widely known is that Putin is one of the top billionaires on the Forbes billionaire list. And how a government employee who came up through the ranks of security became a multi-billionaire is just astonishing to me. But it speaks to that government and its lack of integrity.
And for those that are listening and may not understand what we're talking about, let me try to help frame this issue. Vladimir Putin has been reversing Medvedev's reforms, making slander a crime again and imposing Kremlin control of the direct election of Russian governors. And meanwhile, the pro-Putin state-controlled media ignores the prime minister or carries negative stories about him. It's amazing. They have reduced him to obscurity and almost non-existent. And Putin has already decided on the issues of Medvedev, and now it's just a matter of time before he goes. I mean, it's obvious. I mean, they have relegated him to irrelevant, Jan.
Armstrong, Medvedev was actually listed in the Washington Times. They referred to him as dead man walking.
Wow.
There you go. There you go.
And tell us what that means in Russian mafia terms.
Well, I don't even know that you got me on that one. I'm not real abreast on the Russian mafia, but I think it's incredible when the president of a country defines the prime minister of that same country, and an international paper of the scope and magnitude of the Washington Times suggests that this prime minister has been not only so diminished in his capacity, but is actually referred to as a dead man walking. I think that says volumes just in the selection of words.
Well, it can only mean one thing. You know, I don't know how much, Jan, this may be a topic that you follow, the Environmental Protection Agency. And what is the president trying to do at EPA?
Well, I can tell you that a majority of Americans who are conservative, who are not strong environmentalists, and I say that meaning we support our environment and methods of taking care and being good stewards of our environment, but at the same time, when you put too many regulations on businesses so that they can't even operate, which is another reason they're moving to other countries, then you have too much. So there are very few of us that have much respect at all for the Environmental Protection Agency. I've been battling with the EPA for several decades, so I'm probably not the best person in the world to really speak objectively on that.
Jan, question for you, if I might. I hear your response, and I'm curious because I've heard this said, and I'm a conservative. I'm also a business, and I am a small business person, and I'm also a small business person whose business has regulatory influence, is regulatorily influenced by the EPA. Having said all that, I'm curious, what specific issue do you believe that the EPA presents to businesses that thwarts their growth and productivity? Is there a specific that you can reference?
No, I can't sit here and list you specifics because there are so many different regulations out there. I just know that talking with business owners, there are so many regulations that inhibit their ability to manufacture their products, to stay in compliance. And it's kind of like our tax code. You know, it's so thick and there's so much to it that no matter how much you try to stay on top of it, there's no way that you're going to be able. You can find the IRS can find something wrong with all of us. They can find all of us. There's something we didn't do right, something we didn't check off correctly, or it's way too convoluted. And I think that many businesses in this country view the EPA regulations the same way. It's like, okay, here they come, and how can I possibly abide by all of these things when I don't even know what all is there? It's more government red tape.
Well, let me answer it. I don't know if you even follow what they've been trying to do with soot, spelled SOOT. I don't even know if you followed what they're trying to do with this hydraulic fracturing, and even the ozone rule, Milo, even this greenhouse gas regulations. There are so many areas where they're trying to thwart the growth of businesses in this country. I mean, you wouldn't have a pad long enough to list them all. Even this farm dust regulation for somebody who grew up on a farm, they're trying to regulate dust on a farm. These people have gone mad.
Exactly. There are examples, and I understand farm dust example. I mean, that's an absurdity. I totally agree with you. However,
yes, but
slow down. Hang on a second, because one of the problems I have with our party is that we frequently speak in generalizations, and in doing so, I think we diminish the validity of our message.
There's nothing general about what I just said. There are no generalizations there. Okay, it's just fact.
When you say the soot problem, let's talk exactly about what the soot problem is. The soot problem speaks directly to energy production and clean coal, burning of clean coal, and it more specifically relates to carbon and sulfur emissions into our environment. Now, both carbon and sulfur create a problem. Carbon in suspension damages the blades on jet engines. It affects paint on automobiles, and it causes respiratory problems in people's breathing. Sulfur causes acid rain and severe erosion to our ecosystem. So these are reasonable things to be conscious of.
But let me help you. Let me talk about this, because this is an area that I've written about extensively. I mean, listen, what these people want to do, they want to ratchet down the annual exposure standard, Jen, to 12 micrograms per cubic meter, which is a 20% reduction from the current standard of 15 micrograms. That is unbelievable. And EPA has faced a court-ordered deadline to complete the rules, which will cover a dangerous, what they call a microscopic pollution that is emitted by factories and power plants, diesel vehicles, ship, and many other sources. And the agencies has touted its benefits of the rules, but yet they have not laid out what those benefits are.
And all of those regulations, Armstrong, cost money. It costs, in some cases, hundreds of thousands, even millions of dollars for businesses to implement some of these things that the EPA is bringing down on them. And when you combine that with increased corporate taxes, it's just we're strangling our businesses in this country, and we're creating the kind of environment that is not good for entrepreneurship and free market enterprise. And that's my concern. It's more of an expansion of government and meddling that is unnecessary.
Yes, Milo, it's stifling. I mean, we all believe in regulations. I mean, come on, this is bordering on absurd.
Don't confuse what I'm saying. I am by far one of the most aggressive, proponents of contraction in government. I think EPA is excessive. I think FAA is excessive. I think most of our government is excessive because we hire all these people, and frequently they have nothing to do but demonstrate that they're doing something so they can justify continuing to receive their salaries. We're on the same page on that. What my concern is that there's the segment of the population, and unfortunately disproportionately represented in our party, that say they don't believe in global warming, who say that they don't want any controls from EPA. Environmental controls protect our environment, which protect our lives, and more importantly, the lives and the planet that we leave for our children. Having said that, I think there needs to be some moderation, but it can't be this cavalier and sweeping, throw it all out. We need to look at it, make some informed and valid decisions and modifications in the policies that are in place, but these are needed agencies. When you travel the world, I know you've traveled nearly as extensively as I have abroad. You've seen what other countries look like that don't have these agencies.
Oh my God! All you got to do is go to China. Oh my goodness!
Exactly.
Oh my goodness!
So we just have to have some moderation, and I guess my biggest concern, crossing the board on all levels, is that the dialogue from both sides of the aisle tends to be very extremist. And I don't care what extremist you are, whether you're a religious extremist, a social extremist, an economic extremist. Anybody who is an extremist is unstable to me.
Listen, this has been a very wide-range discussion of so many important issues today, and I'm so glad we always have Milo, and Jan was called at the last second. She would talk. She was booked a month ago. Jan, Milo, thank you both so much for joining us.
Thank you.
For more information on the Armstrong-Williams Show, please visit our new website at www.rightsidewire.com. There you can find his syndicated column.